Okay, today I'm going to give an overview of the wave trigger system, which is used to trigger enemy waves based on different conditions. We currently support two different types of triggers. One is for entering a room, and one is for destroying an object or a health component. So the first case, you'll see in this room we have two locked doors, and underneath this room we have an enemy wave system. This is a sequence, so it runs through these three waves, and each wave spawns a handful of enemies. You can configure this so you have different percentages, and we've set up three of these in a row. And then down here we've given this sequence a wave trigger. Now this wave trigger only has two fields that you need to set. One is the sequence and one is a singular wave. Basically you can pick either a wave sequence or a single wave. In this example, we're using a sequence, so we're going to set this first field to this object. So if I click on this, you'll see it's highlighting the same exact component. You can also click and drag this in from here. And same with this. We don't have to set the second one because you only need to set one of these, and in this case, we want to use wave sequence. And basically what this does is this tells the wave sequence to start when the player enters the room. So if they come in from here or from here, that's entering this room, and then the wave system will trigger and enemies will spawn. Now, of course, we add this decision count requirement because if you don't, what will happen is if you keep entering the room, the wave sequence will start if it's not running. So essentially, if you keep entering and exiting the room, it will just keep respawning enemies. In some cases, that's cool. In our case, we don't want that because you can grind for souls, and we're trying to avoid that. So what I did here is I said, I have it set to greater than. We actually want this to be set to equals. So if it's equal to 1, basically this will only trigger once when you enter the room for the first time. If you enter the room a second time, decision count will increase to 2, and then it's no longer equal, it won't run. If you enter the room a third time, it's now 3, still not equal, it won't run. However, I could set this to greater than, and then, of course, you have to enter the room once. It won't spawn, so then you enter the room twice, and then it will spawn. 3 times it will spawn. So that doesn't make much sense, but this is a component that can be used for other systems. In this case, it's tied directly to the entered account, or the enter amount, and we're using it here to limit it to only 1. Okay, and you'll see that the enemies have spawned in the room. So let's kill them. Very easy. We have it on easy mode right now. Now the enemies are dead. The doors have unlocked. So let's exit. Let's enter the room again. And you'll see that the enemies have not spawned. And that is because we've set the decision count to 1. And it's also set to equals. So it only runs the very first time. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the second example. We're going to be using the OnDeathWaveTrigger to spawn enemies in this room after destroying this generator. So what we've done is in this room, we've set up an enemy wave, and this enemy wave will spawn 3 different flying skulls. So we set it to 100%, we spawn 3 flying skulls, and we spawn them in 3 different positions. So here those are, so we have 3. And then in the generator room, we have the generator. You'll see there's actually no death wave trigger on this object. The reason why we're not putting it here is because the power source is technically a requirement script and it conflicts with the OnDeath. So what we do instead is we stick the OnDeathWaveTrigger script on the room itself. You can technically put this on a different game object. I put it on the room just so I can find it. And I use this checkbox called Use Custom Health. If I don't check this, what happens is it will try to grab the health component from the current game object, and you can see there's actually no health component on here. So I'm going to turn this on, and then I can take the generator and I can drag it into this slot. So now when this generator dies, it will trigger, and then I can tell it to trigger the wave. So I'm using singular wave this time. I can tell it to trigger the wave in this room. All right, cool. So here's that wire. It's connected to this generator, I can't shoot this generator. It's completely defended. So now I go through here. You'll see it's keeping this door locked. This door is unlocked, so we'll try going down here. Now we're fighting enemies. Once we destroy all the enemies, this door will unlock. We'll go through, do the platforming challenge, destroy the first generator. This unlocks the shield, and it should also spawn 3 flying skulls. Let's check it out. So in this room, you'll see there's actually flying skulls flying around the room. And now the generator is exposed, which allows me to destroy it. And now I can go through this door and proceed. Okay, the final example is actually really simple, and it's almost the same as this generator, except everything happens in the same room. Actually, I would argue this is the same exact thing, so we'll just go through this quickly. So on the soul canister, you'll see that we have this OnDeathWaveTrigger, and it's been added to the object that has the health component. In this case, I'm not actually using custom health, because what this does is it will grab the health component on the soul canister and use it. And the reason why I'm putting it on the same object is because this object doesn't have any existing requirements. So I don't have to worry about those interfering with the death wave trigger. So I'm going to keep this unchecked, and it will actually populate this when I hit play. And then this room actually has a enemy wave. So it's the exact same room. It's right underneath the soul canister. It has an enemy wave which spawns flayed minion peelers. So these are the guys with the swords. It will spawn these 100% of the time on 3 different spawn points. So this is essentially how you create a trap object. So the other case is like backtracking. So we destroy a generator in one room. Now we're backtracking through another, spawns enemies. And then in this case, what we're doing is we put a trap in the room. So the player's like, oh, what is this? Oh, a little reward. They destroy it, and then enemies spawn in to attack them. So yeah, that is how you can leverage this component to make a trap. Okay, that was a quick overview of the wave trigger system. We currently support 2 types of wave triggers, OnDeath and RoomEntered. And this is how you can leverage them in your levels to create interesting combat scenarios. Hopefully this was helpful. Have a great day.